Hey friends, it's Cece here, and I am back for another video trying to help you live your best life, okay? Here we go. Yes. If you caught my video last week, I talked about consistency and my struggle with consistency, and one of the biggest reasons why we all struggle with consistency is really due to limiting beliefs that maybe we aren't good enough, or we fall into the comparison game, comparing ourselves to other people and things like that. And I touched a little bit on habits and how I want to create this habit of consistency in showing up online, in posting on Instagram or on YouTube or whatever. But also, it's kind of like breaking the habit of that limiting belief. So it's kind of two things going on here. But I wanted to dive a little bit more into habits and kind of give you guys a tool on how to make better habits and break some of our bad habits. So let's get into it. So I want you to think of a habit that you have, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. Just think of a habit and start to break it down. So every habit has this kind of loop of the cue, the routine, and the reward. Then you can kind of break that routine into two things. So you have the cue, and then you have this craving, and then you have the response, and then the reward. So every habit kind of has this loop, right? Easy example, maybe brushing your teeth is a habit that hopefully we all have. So the cue would be maybe your teeth feel gross after you eat or something like that, or before you go to bed, you feel that like little grime on your teeth. That's the cue, right? And then the craving would be that feeling to go to the bathroom and go get your toothbrush and brush your teeth. Then the response would be, to brush your teeth. Reward is you have clean teeth. Super simple, easy example of that little habit loop. You can basically plug any new habit that you want to form into that formula. We can take my example from last week of wanting to create the habit of posting once a week. I'm just giving myself a once a week right now because going any further than that just feels overwhelming. It doesn't feel attainable for me right now, even though it probably will be in the future, but I just want to create that habit of making one reel a week or making one video like this a week or whatever. Like, I just want to create one piece of content per week to create that consistency, create that habit, create that routine of like, all right, it's Tuesday, it's time to record. Let's sit down, let's get my camera, let's get my notes, and let's go. Step one would be the cue. So you ask yourself, how can I make it obvious? How can I make this cue so obvious that I'm not gonna forget it, I'm not gonna ignore it? So maybe for me, content creation would be like putting it in my schedule, having an alarm set. So every Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna sit down and I'm going to record for 1 hour. I'm going to make a social media post, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do that. So actually adding it into my calendar, making that cue coming up every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. I am going to sit down for an hour and create some content. Second would be the craving. How can I make it desirable? How can I make it attractive? Now, this one I struggle with a little bit, especially in something that I have so much resistance to, but maybe I could sit outside and make an Instagram reel, or I could go to a coffee shop to make it feel like I have an appointment, that I have to go to work, something that is also exciting, like I go get to treat myself to a little coffee. So making it feel special, right? That's that craving that we want to have, that crave to go and do it. Maybe I need to work on that one a little bit more. That one's a little tricky for this. I can't think of any ideas right now besides going to a coffee shop, or something, a library, somewhere else other than my house, because sometimes I get distracted really easily. Next would be the response. How can I make this easy? How can I set myself up for success in a way that making a reel or making a video is going to be easy? So this might require a little prep work for this specific one, but also any habit, it might require a little bit of prep work on your part, which is totally fine. So for me, maybe organizing my pictures into folders and favorites. So when I sit down to go post, I can just go into my favorites folder and be like, oh, I like these pictures, boom, 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 post. Making it easy, right? Another thing too with that is kind of like I said before, is to me, easy doesn't feel like posting 3 reels a week, 2 pictures, posting a story every day. Like that doesn't feel easy to me. That feels hard and scary and like a lot. So for me, making it easy also is like posting once, posting 1 picture, posting 1 video. And if I post more, great. But it's just that goal of just 1 is where I'm at right now. And I think as I keep going and as I keep creating and setting myself up for success in making it easy, organizing my stuff, preparing stuff in advance. So if I give myself that hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe I can create a bunch of content. So then I can post multiple times a week because I have stuff ready to go. So that's kind of the making it easy aspect, and also just like not setting yourself up to fail. Last would be the reward. How can I make this satisfying? How can I make posting on Instagram satisfying? How can I make posting content satisfying? This one is a little tricky for me. Maybe I can, give myself an hour of being phone free, go on a walk outside, leaving my phone at home, just kind of taking that like mental detox from my phone after being on it for so long of creating. And that could be a really good reward. Or maybe actually letting myself scroll for a while after I'm done posting, just to like get that out of my system. Like, okay, cool. I made my thing, it's posted. Now let me just like veg out for a little bit. Like that could be a reward too. So I don't know. Again, maybe I need to think about that one a little bit deeper, but just some ideas. And to give you guys just another example really quick, a habit that so many people want to make is like going to the gym, for example, or working out. So number 1, how can I make it obvious? The cue, right? Maybe setting an alarm. Maybe as soon as you wake up, you put on your gym clothes. Maybe you just drive there automatically after work. Like that cue to go to the gym, to work out. The craving, how can I make it attractive? Maybe you have really cute gym clothes that you feel so good in that you like want to put on. You get excited about putting on your little gym clothes. Or coming up with a playlist that gets you super hyped. Like, yeah, I'm ready to go run, I'm ready to go lift some shit, like let's go, like something like that gets you hyped about going to the gym. 3 would be the response. Make it easy. Again, don't start off with being like, I'm gonna go to the gym every day for 2 hours and do all these crazy workouts and become super huge, blah blah blah. It's like, take it small. Go start maybe 30 minutes, 20 minutes, even 5 minutes. If you really don't feel like going, if you just have that habit of turning left towards the gym instead of turning right towards home, you're just gonna go to the gym, even for just 5 minutes, walking on the treadmill for 5 minutes, maybe just going in and going out. Like we're just trying to create that habit, right? Of going there. And 9 times out of 10, if you end up there, you're probably gonna work out for a little bit, right? You're not just gonna walk for 5 minutes and leave. But maybe you do, and maybe that's all you have energy for that day, and that is totally fine. We're just trying to create that habit. Last is reward. How can I make this satisfying? Well, this doesn't necessarily mean that after I go to the gym, now I can go home and eat a big bucket of ice cream. If you want to do that, great. But maybe the reward is how you feel after the gym. You feel accomplished. You feel those endorphins. You feel happy. Or maybe you reward yourself with watching an hour of your favorite TV show when you get home. Something like that to get you excited about what you get to do after, or how you feel after you do the workout. 2 pretty simple examples of this habit forming loop and those questions you can ask yourself through each stage. And what really is the key here is repetition, right? Repetition is the key to this. So you're not just going to create a habit by doing this once, right? You need to do it maybe not every day, but as much as you can, I would say. I saw some video one time on YouTube about forming habits, and honestly, a reward could be you get to make a check mark on your calendar or a star. And he said something along the lines of try not to miss 2 days in a row. So even if you miss every other day, you still did that thing 50% of the time. That's amazing. Like, let's say there's 30 days in a month, you still went to the gym 15 days of that month. Like, that's amazing. You worked out every other day. That is something to celebrate. And so that reward could be giving yourself a big old star. I went to the gym today. Like, yes, looking at your calendar and seeing every single day that you went, that can be really satisfying and motivating for a lot of people, and kind of gives you that accountability as well. And eventually with that repetition, it won't even feel like a chore. Like I said, you're automatically going to turn left towards the gym, and it's just going to be natural, and it's just going to happen, and you won't have to think about it and put so much effort into it after you have that repetition, after you keep going. It's going to be amazing, and you're going to feel so good and accomplished that you completed this task. Now, when it comes to breaking a bad habit or changing a habit that you don't really want to have anymore, we can do this in a little bit of a different way. So we can begin to restructure and reprogram that habit loop. First, you can restructure your environment by removing the cue or the trigger that begins the habit. And then you can begin to reprogram the response by changing the action or behavior, and then you still get the same reward, okay? So hear me out. A habit that I want to change is going on my phone first thing in the morning. So my current cue is I wake up and my phone is like sitting on my nightstand right there. So I see it, I look at it, I pick it up, I go on it. To change that, I moved my phone across the room. So now I plug it in across the room, so it's not the first thing that I see when I wake up in the morning. Therefore, I've reduced that trigger and reduced that cue because it's not the first thing that I see when I open my eyes in the morning. Therefore, that craving to look at my phone just automatically decreases because I don't have that cue of seeing it right away. And my response has changed because now I'd have to get up out of my comfy bed the moment I wake up to roll out of bed, walk across the room, and go look at my phone. I don't really want to do that. And so now what I can change my response to is, maybe just waking up slowly, stretching a little bit, and then when I get up, I don't even go to my phone. I go straight to the bathroom and I go wash my face. Maybe I come back, I do some simple stretches or some breath work or prayer or something like that before I pick up my phone. So I've created this new routine to get rid of that habit. And the reward is still I get to look at my phone just after maybe 30 minutes of a little bit of self-care and self-love in the morning versus going straight to my phone and looking at my messages, looking at Instagram, whatever it may be. I have this little routine in the morning before I go do that. But I still get to look at my phone. I still get to look at my messages. And so I still get the same reward. I just changed the habit a little bit. So you can do this with your own habits as well. Instead of trying to create a whole new habit all the time or trying to get rid of a whole bad habit, you can just kind of tweak it a little bit depending on what it is. Now, I did not come up with this stuff on my own. There are many books and many speakers who talk about this kind of stuff all the time. I just wanted to give you a little recap and put it in a way that makes sense and is short and sweet, and you can implement these things right now. And the thing is, these things are really, really simple, but they're not always easy, right? Doing this stuff isn't easy. You really have to commit to yourself, really commit to that repetition, but the things themselves are simple. The concepts are simple. And you can take it and you can run with it and you can create your dream life. You can reach your goals through these small, simple changes that can really impact your life. I recently heard a podcast of this woman talking about how at the beginning of the year, she writes down 12 habits that she wants to create this year. And she focuses on 3 of them for 3 months. So by the end of the year, she maybe has like 10 to 12 new habits that she has created over the course of a year. And so you kind of just work on the habits until they become an actual habit. You don't have to think about it anymore. They become automatic. And then you start to work on the other ones. So now those 3 things that you worked on the first few months are automatic, and then you can start to bring in the new 3 things that you work on until they're automatic. And so by the end of the year, you have like 12 new habits. They don't have to be huge things like, I'm going to go work out 2 hours 5 times a day, or 5 times a day, 5 times a week. Or I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and do meditation, breath work, yoga, blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't have to be massive like that. It can start really small, like making your bed, not going on your phone in the morning, writing one thing that you're grateful for every day. These small, tiny habits that are just going to help you reach your goals and have your dream life, you guys. It's so good. It's so good. To just give you a quick little recap, habits all have this loop. Cue, craving, response, reward, right? To create a new habit, the cue, how can I make this obvious? Second, the craving, how can I make this desirable? 3, the response, how can I make it easy? And 4, the reward, how can I make this satisfying? Ask yourself those questions when you want to create a new habit. Getting rid of an old habit, or a bad habit, or changing a bad habit. Restructure and reprogram. Restructure, remove the cue or the trigger that puts you into that habit loop. And then to reprogram by changing the action or the behavior, but getting the same reward. And then repetition is absolutely key in all of this, okay? Repetition. Keep on doing it. And it will just form those new neural pathways in your brain that will make it easier and easier every single time until that habit is just something you don't even have to think about. Alrighty, friends, that's all I got for you this week. Let me know in the comments what habits that you're trying to create or break, or what journey that you've been on with your habits. And yeah, I just want to know. I want to hear from y'all. Alrighty. Hit this video. Hit like if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, and then hit that subscribe button if you are here for this ride. Yes. I love you all. Ciao for now.